Okay, on the dampers there are rubber inserts. Some kits you will get the whole damper, some kits you will just get the rubber insert. You just put it in, faces down. Filter, the angled ends go down, narrow end is down. We have a gray check valve here, a gray check valve here, a blue check valve here, a gray check valve here. We have a rocker ball that goes down here. And we have 8 236 rubber balls, and let me find out where they all go. I know one goes here, one goes here, and here, here. Let me find out where the rest of these go. I think here and here. Okay, no ball there. We got a ball here, 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 and here, and there. Okay, I'll get the next section. We have our separator plate, BO63 on one side, AO63 on the other. Make sure that these check valves poke up through our plate. On our valve body bolts, we have 6 bolts that are longer than the others. Those hold the computer on. The rest go everywhere else. And the 6 that hold the computer on go here, here, and here. In the wrong spot. Okay, you can put just a few bolts in, actually just a couple if you want to, and don't go too tight, just go down to where it's kind of finger tight. You want it to still move around because you want your conductor plate to be able to go in. We have guide pins on here and here. They go in here and here. Our manual valve has to line up in the neutral switch. Don't get too radical with it. You do not want to break your computer. And when you flip this over, be careful you don't want to break your speed sensors. Okay, tighten those down, 106 inch-pounds, and we are done with this valve body. Alright, where's my last one? Out there. Oh, right there, right in front of my face. Alright, that's it. Alright, lube up your drum. Got an O-ring that goes on the piston here. O-ring goes here. Don't worry about the fact that it's dirty. This is not being built, it's just being put back together as a core. Move that up. Get your bell valve plate with the fingers dished down. Another O-ring here. And this is pretty loose. May end up leaving that off. Right, then you got a retainer. The dish goes down. Your snap ring, you notice there's a taper to your tips. You want the short end of the taper up. You want the opening away from the opening. Make sure that the snap ring is down inside that retainer. Alright, this is just for picture purposes. The tan clutches are out of a 6R80, which are basically the same. The ones you're going to get are probably going to be green. And I do believe they should be, like the 6R80s are like 65 thousandths, 64. I think the 6HP28 clutches are 79, I believe. I think this is going to come out way too loose. These steels would need to be replaced. See, these are 79. Let's see how this came out. Okay, we would not be able to put 79 thousandths clutches in there. They would need to be the 64s. And I'm not giving away good clutches, so I'm going to put the bad clutches back in here. Normally I would just leave these out. Makes it easier to assemble it as a core. It's not like they need them. Okay, there's a bearing that goes here. There's a bearing that goes here, make sure it's on there. There are 3 sealing rings on here. Make sure when you go to put these on, you only open these up far enough to get them on there. They do go together just like so. You want it in there, something just like that. Okay, on your low reverse, your pressure plate's going to go in the case first. It's 130 thousandths, 64 thousandths. Clutches, the thin ones again, tan ones. Your steels are 82 thousandths. Your cushion plate is 33. It goes on top. Go ahead and lube your drum up, or your center support up. You'll notice you have a notch here. You have an empty space here. You have a dill here. Actually, let's get this piston in there first. You got an O-ring here. We have a lip seal with the lip facing up. Okay, this is going to face down just like so. On your piston here, you have an O-ring here. You have an O-ring here. Goes in the bottom, right there. You have the notch. You have the empty spot. You have a tab here. This has to go. This tab has to go in that notch right there and loop around and lock in here. Okay, so I got this a little backwards. The dead space right there goes where these are, and then just kind of pry that back up into spot right there. And your bevel plate goes with the dish up, and your half moon keys are going to clip into here in that groove right there. You want the opening of your fingers to be in the opening of the half moons, so you're going to want this sitting in there, something just like that. Alright, lube up this side of your support. You have lip seals. The lip faces towards you. This bevel plate dish faces up. That goes down. Short end of the taper up towards you. Keep the opening away from one of these openings. Put it over in here somewhere. Okay, 34 thousandths on your cushion plate. 117 on the steels. The thick green clutches, 85 thousandths. These steels here kind of needed replacing also. 152 on the pressure plate and 139 on the snap ring. You have a recess on our erase, faces down. And this bearing goes on the back. Okay, when we come back, we'll stuff this in the case. We have these lugs need to go in the center of the support right here. You want that to be kind of in the center. Notice how that one's up a little bit too high. You need to be down further. that. Okay, we'll be stuffing this in the case when we come back. Okay, this drum here, these are pretty critical bushings. This one is going to stick up a little bit on this side. You want it flush on this side. Sometimes, like the factory bushing has a bevel here. You want to make sure if your replacement bushing has it, that it's facing up. An O-ring here. Now this drum, there's usually two different style. There may be an O-ring or there may be a D-shaped ring here. So pick the appropriate one. This one's a little loose, I may be leaving it off. And the same goes for this out here. Maybe an O-ring, maybe D-shaped like this one. On your bell plate, the dish goes up. Hopefully you marked your piston. That makes it quicker because it only lines up one way, so I marked mine. And just line it all back up. I'm on there. Up on there. Okay. Short end of the taper and your snap ring up again. And you're going to need a pair of snap ring pliers. Okay, cushion plate. It's 35. Steels are 117. Clutches are the thin tan ones, 64. The pressure plate is the same as the steels, 117. So you're going to stack that up just like so. Snap ring is 139. You would put your snap ring in. Okay, there's no need to take these races off. And there is a washer here. The tabs go down inside the pinions. No need to take it off. But your race goes here. This race goes on this side. And they pop together. Just like so. The sun gear has a recess on both sides, but this recess faces towards the top here. Bearing pops in the back. Make sure that this snap ring that you pushed off to get the planet out is in the groove that it goes into. There's no need to take all this out. Just make sure that before you go sticking this on there that the snap ring is where it's supposed to be. And try to keep the opening away from an opening. Okay, just line your tabs up. It's like I said, it's only going to line up one way. So just find the way that it lines up, pop it into place, and my race is popped out. So I got to get that back down in there. There we go. Once you get that on there, make sure everything's down. Make sure your bearing's on here. Put your drum in. Make sure your bearing's on there. Put your hub in. Make sure your bearing and your race is on. Put your hub down. Okay, there's a notch right there. There's a tab on your hub. Make sure that's lined up. On your snap ring, you have two cutouts. The small cutout goes with this dimple right here. Start that in that side first. And then work your way around. Once you get around here, you're going to have to tap that in. And that's not quite where it goes. Make sure that the end of the snap ring is past this tab right here. Actually, I got this upside down, I think. No, I had it right. Why are you being a snot? Here we go. I don't know why it was being that way. And just get a screwdriver and hammer and make sure it's popped into place. Okay, and this drum here, when you change these bushings, you're going to want to find where the bushing is put together. There's usually a seam on a bushing. You want to drive it out there because that will split the bushing and it'll come around this sleeve that's in there and won't screw that sleeve up. Otherwise, you're going to have to pull that bushing out this way. And then pay attention to how far down it is. You do not want to block the holes. And this side is no big deal. Just make sure that you put it back where it was. The sealing ring here. Here again, only open this up just far enough to get the sealing rings on. You don't want to break them. You can break them and not even know that you broke them. And they go together just like so. There's two of them. Bearing's probably going to stay on here. Lube your drum up. Here's an O-ring on the back and in the middle. Here's an O-ring here. Hang that up. Put your piston in. Then you're going to want to put this snap ring in, short end of the taper up. Alright. Then you have your bevel plate. Fingers dish goes up. The ring, the little recessed area faces up. It goes in the center. The snap ring has to go around this ridge right here, so make sure it fits down on that once you get it in there. Do not put the opening halfway through. Try to go, into where it's something like that, where you don't have it hanging out like that. Okay, something like that. There's going to be a bearing that goes here. Your clutches are going to be, so your cushion plate is 35, steels are 82, clutches are usually going to get green and brown or tan clutches. Sometimes they're all green, sometimes they're all tan. They'll be thick and thin. You're going to want the thick ones here, 89 thousandths. Alternate that all the way up. You got your pressure plate with the dimples up, and pressure plate is 150. Snap ring, they are selective, 145, and that's going to go on there. Do make sure your bearing's still on the back. Okay, on your pump, it's a snap ring in here that holds this bearing in if you need to replace that. Press your seal in just a little bit past flush. This is not getting rebuilt, so it does not matter about anything on here. There's no ring here. On your gears, there's an ID mark on both. They both face up. Lube up your O-ring and get you a line up bolt. Lube up your pump cover. Okay, there we go. Go ahead and put your O-ring on the outside. This pump cover plate goes on here. Stator. Goes on here. You're gonna have to press this in. Okay, there are long and short 30 Torx bolts. It's kind of obvious what goes where. be in the video when I find them. So sealing rings are hook and loop. They just look hooked. Can't even speak. They just hook together like so. There's a large one and a small one. Can't screw that up. Always replace your bushing out here. There is a spacer for your end play. You can either put it here or you can put it down on the planet when you get your drum down in there. I just always go ahead and put it here. Lube up your O-ring on the outside. When you go to put your pump bolts in, there is a short one that goes here that has the same washers that your pump bolts have, so don't forget that thing. Okay, I suggest that you take your rear seal out. Don't have it in there when you put your output shaft in. There is a snap ring here. This housing comes out, and there's a bearing that's on the back of that. Then there's a cage bearing that comes out from the back side. Never seen one of them bad, so I wouldn't worry too much about them. Shim on the output shaft, race for the bearing in the front. The camera's kind of right in the way. See if I can do this without hitting it. Okay. You have the race bearing lip up, sun gear, the bevel up. This is going to pop into that bearing down there. And once we get it lined up, get the sun gear here. And the race, and I'm gonna have to move this because the camera's just right in the way. Hopefully we're getting a good enough view. Alright, pressure plate down first. There's a notch here. I put it at the 6 o'clock. Make sure your bearings on the back, race is on the front, feed ports at the 6 o'clock. kind of try to go as evenly as possible. Snap ring, it's really not critical where the opening is, and it's beveled on both sides, but do try to, you still do have a bevel to your snap ring. Put the short end up, and the opening is down around about 7 o'clock, but like I said, it's not super critical where that goes. You can use a pair of snap ring pliers if you have a big pair. If you don't, this one's not as difficult as a lot of them, but the camera is right in my way. You make sure it's all the way back. Sometimes trying to keep from hitting this camera is a chore. Make sure your bearings on the back, bearings on the front. Make sure your race is on the back of your hub. Okay, if you didn't put the shim on the back of your pump, you need to put it in here now. Lube up your case. Lube up your pump O-ring. Put your feed port down at 6 o'clock. .27 Torx on the pump bolts, and you have washers. You want to replace those when you're rebuilding it. Alright, I'll have to put the torque specs in there. I think they're 71 inch-pounds. Don't forget the one on the pump right there, if you haven't already put it in. Alright, tighten these down. I flipped the case up. Okay, your bridge seal, you always want to replace this. The long end faces down. You're about to run out of everything. Alright, your seals, you have 2 short ones, a medium one, and a long one. Hopefully I can get this done before we run out. I don't want to have to change everything for like 2 minutes worth of video. Okay, put your valve body on. Make sure that you line your manual valve up on your linkage there. Alright, they're all the same except for the 3 that go down here. They're the shorter ones, so you can't screw it up. 40 Torx on this. Here again, I think it's 71 inch-pounds. Pass-through connector has 2 O-rings and a flat O-ring here. There's a notch that you got to line up. Just shove that in. Once you get it lined up, shove it in until this will go down. This won't go down, and it's not far enough. And is the filter. .40 Torx on the bolts. This is your drain. Your fill is on the, let's see, the fill is on the side right here, 6 millimeter. I believe it's 6. That's an 8 millimeter. And I believe it's 71 inch-pounds on this again. And then on your output shaft back here, put moly grease on that and on your transfer case splines, and that'll help keep that from getting eat up. Put your seal in, you know, about a 1/8 of an inch below flush, maybe 1/4. However far the old one was in, it's usually in about that far. And then I guess we are done with this unit.